Hello students, good morning. I am currently at a training today at our KC admin building, so I will not be in class with you today, but I will be there tomorrow on Wednesday. So today is just going to be a bit of a review day because we're preparing for your district assessment. So this page is going to be one that you fill out with me, and then I'm going to have you do the last couple problems by yourself. And turn it into the basket today. Again, make sure that this gets turned into the basket with your name on it because it will be graded and going in the grade book as a participation grade. So let's just go ahead and jump right into writing expressions. At the very top of the page, it says use your knowledge of algebraic expressions to answer each of the questions below. So looking at number 1, it says which of the following can be written as an equation? So remember, we're looking for an equation, which means it has to have an equal sign. Okay, and that is typically with the word is, okay? So let's go ahead and read through each of these choices and figure out which one sounds like an equation. So for A, it says twice the sum of 4 and a number. If I was to write this out, to write out this expression, I know that this is an expression because there's not the word is in it. It would be twice, so that means 2 times. The sum, so that means that we are adding 4 and a number. And because we're talking about a sum, that means it's addition. And I'm going to put n for a number. So that's what my expression would look like. 2 times the sum, so the quantity, of 4 plus n, some random number. Therefore, I don't have an equal sign, so this is not an equation. A is not my answer choice. B says the sum of a number and 32. So again, sum means addition, means we're adding, of a number, so any number, I'm going to put a variable in there, and 32. So that would be n plus 32, the sum of n plus 32. Again, no equal sign, so that means that it is not an equation. 5 says 5 is half a number. 5 is half of a number. So that means that 5 equals a number divided by 2, half of whatever that number is. And I'm sure you could figure out exactly what that number would be. So therefore, because it has the word is in it, which is not completely foolproof because sometimes they can say is less than or is greater than, and in that case that means you're adding or subtracting. But in this case, it's saying that 5 is equal to half of a number. So this would be our example of an equation. Okay, and then if you look at D, let's just rule it out. It says the quotient of 15 and a number. Quotient means you're dividing a 15 and a number. So that would be 15 divided by whatever your number is. Okay, so again, that would be an expression, no equal sign. So C is in fact the right choice. Moving on to question number 2. Which 2 expressions are not equal to each other? Okay, so let's talk about this. If I was to go through and solve A, okay, looking at A, this right here is an example of the distributive property because I have a variable next to my 3. So that means I would have to multiply this with that variable, or that term, and I would also have to multiply 4 with 5, okay? And that is the same thing as 4 times 3x plus my 4 times 5. So therefore, those are equivalent to each other. Looking at 15, same concept. I've got 15 times x plus 2. I would have to do the distributive property, so I would have to multiply 15 with x and with 2, giving me 15x plus 15 times 2 would be 30. So therefore, those are equivalent to each other. So again, A and B are not my answer choice. C says 21x minus 28 is the same as 7 times 3x. Well, I know 7 times 3 is 21, so that would be 21x. So therefore, that's right. Minus 7 times 4, which is 28. So therefore, those are equivalent to each other as well. So D has to be the expression that's not equivalent, the expressions that are not equivalent to each other. And we can check that by doing 12 times x, which is 12x, and then 12 times 10, which would be 120, not 10. So D would be our answer choice. Okay, moving on to questions 3 through 8. We're going to use our understanding of writing expressions to translate the expressions below. I'm going to go through these relatively quickly. So looking at number 3, if I was just to read this left to right, it says a quarter times x minus 12. So you could write a quarter of the difference, because that is another way of saying subtraction, a quarter of the difference of a number and 12. Okay, that's exactly what is being told to me right now. I'm trying to find a quarter, so 1/4 of the quantity of x, so a random number, minus 12. A quarter of the difference of a number and 12. Moving on to number 4. 6 more than a number is 17. So 6 more than, I'm going to go ahead and just write 6. More than means plus a number. So any number, we can just put a variable in there. A number is, that's my equal sign. We're saying that 6 plus n is exactly equal to 17. That would be my equation that this statement is telling me about. 6 more than a number is 17. 6 plus n equals 17. Number 5, a number less 5 divided by 42. Okay, so let's break this down. A number, so you got a variable. I'm going to go ahead and put a. Less 5, so that means minus 5 is divided by 42. So I'm going to put a division sign and write 42 right there. A number less 5, so a variable minus 5 divided by 42. So you just write a division sign. I used a fraction, 42. Moving on to number 6, the difference of twice a number and 7. So the difference means we're subtracting of twice a number. So that means 2 times whatever your number is. I'm going to put n. 2 times n minus 7. The difference of twice a number and 7. So 2n minus 7. Again, all I'm doing is just reading these expressions or equations and writing out exactly what it's telling me. Okay. Moving on to number 7. 8 times x minus 10. So you could write 8 times a number. We don't know what that number is. That's why they gave us a variable. 8 times a number minus 10. Or you could even write the difference of 8 times a number and 10. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up here as well. The difference of 8 times a number and 10. Okay, same thing. They really are the same thing. You can write it multiple ways. The difference of 8 times the number and 10 is the same as 8 times the number minus 10. Okay, or even instead of minus, you could write less. 8 times the number less 10. They would all be the same thing. And then number 8 says twice the difference of a number and 7. So let's break that down. Twice the difference. So 2 times the difference means I'm subtracting any number. I'm going to put x and 7. Okay, twice the difference. So that means you got to put your difference in parentheses and you'd be multiplying. You're doubling the difference of some number, whatever your variable is, minus 7. And that would be your expression. Okay? So now for questions for 9 and 10, I want you to try and attempt these on your own. Okay? You do have to solve these problems, I want you to try and do it by yourself. Don't guess. Take your time and try and solve them on your own. And then on Wednesday, we'll be talking about these two problems together as our bell ringer. And you will need this paper. I'll be passing it back to you in class. So make sure that you actually solve 9 and 10 today, okay? And then I want you to go on into the lesson on Schoology and write your response to this video, as well as complete the 5 review questions. If you finish all of that, then you can work on your CR number 20. Have a great rest of your day.